Welcome back to Inside Sports. I'm your host, Chris Marks, and we continue our conversation about boxing and a top-notch card down at Rosecroft Raceway on September 7th. And I'm pleased to be joined by Alantez Fox and his dad, trainer Troy Fox here. They're also on the card and fighting at Rosecroft now for the third time in the last year or so. Talk about that.
Fighting at Rosecroft is pretty good. I like having the hometown fans. You know, I don't know if it scares the opponent or not, but it is good to have everybody right behind you. You know, and because it's Rosecroft, it is kind of quaint and really small, so it's like they right in the ring with you.
Mm-hmm. And Troy, talk about that.
I like it too. I mean, his family gets a chance to see him fight. You know, he's fought in Vegas, New York, Pennsylvania. So over the past year or so, we've fought more at Rosecroft at home, and you know, mother, father, cousins, they get to come out and like the support. Plus, Keystone is a great host.
Talk about how you got into boxing, and you know, you have been a very active fighter over the last 2 years with already 12 fights under your professional belt.
Well, when we were little, you know, I played football and basketball, but as you know, my teammates went off and they tried to get into boxing and stuff. My father found out, and we went over to boxing too. And when they went off and kept going to play football and took off from boxing, I stayed in boxing, and they came back, and I just kept progressing. I ended up being better than everybody.
Is that something that you liked about that, staying in boxing?
It was more, you know, he liked it, so the tournaments he wanted to go to, he had to make a choice, either go to these tournaments or stick with the other sports. Otherwise, he could have probably did them all, but you know, I wasn't going to travel, and you're not going to really train like you should for these tournaments. So I liked it. I liked it.
Now, your last fight out, you went the distance, 6 rounds out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Talk about that fight.
Well, I was supposed to fight here at Showplace Arena, but that fight was canceled. My opponent had some medical issues or something, so immediately my promotion company, Boxing 360, put me on the card in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a pretty good fight. Like, the guy was real durable. It was real smoky in there. I didn't like that, you know, as a boxer, but it was real good. It was a really good fight.
How does that affect your training when you take a fight on short notice? So you're training to fight one fighter, he backs out, and now you're leaving the confines of Prince George's County, going to the Midwest to fight somebody you know you might have just picked up a couple days before. Well,
for that fight specifically, I took that fight. I knew I was training for that fight. I was training for a fight, and that fight got canceled. I fought the next 5 days, so it was just like extended training camp a little bit longer, you know. I thought I was going to be down in weight. I thought I needed to be down in weight the previous week, so I put on a little bit of weight and lost that weight by Thursday, the day of the fight.
Okay, so what comes into that, a training session like that? Do you guys watch a lot of videotape when something like that happens, when a fighter backs out and you get this next guy coming in?
Usually at this stage, you're really kind of training for the best, and he's at the stage now where they're more guys that, you know, are just trying to make it. So unless it's a stance switch, southpaw or something like that, that's the only time it might come in where I might be hesitant to take it. But other than that, right now you take what you can get, and you just look at it like, if you want to be a champion, if you can't beat this guy, you know, maybe we just do something else.
Okay. Now, so far undefeated, 1 draw on the record. Now you have a fight coming up here on September 7th at Rosecroft. Talk about that fight and your opponent.
From what I hear about my opponent, he has a pretty good amateur background. He fought a couple guys I know from around here, like Eric Washington. I heard he has a pretty good right hand, so, you know, we're training to, you know, nullify that. Predictions for the fight is basically simple. I don't know what round it's going to end in, but it's going to look good from bell 1.
Okay, so you're going to go out there and try to hit this guy hard and take it.
I'm gonna box him. If he goes down, and if it's a knockout, if it comes, it comes. But if it doesn't, it still looks beautiful.
Now, you've been fighting, like I said, you've been very consistent in the ring, fighting a lot of rounds. Some of your fights go the distance. Is that something that you like to get that experience, fighting more professional rounds? Or as a fighter, would you rather take a guy out in first or second round?
I mean, it's pretty good. You know, you train for 6 rounds, so it's better to go ahead and fight the 6 rounds. But if I can take somebody out, I will take them out. You know, but it is better to get the rounds, to be honest with you. I fight some tough opponents, some durable opponents. So I just got to keep working.
Now, right now, a lot of 6-round fights. What's the next step in the progression moving up in rounds?
Well, he actually went to New York and did an 8-round fight.
Okay.
That was the draw. I expect to do this is maybe the last or one more 6-round, and then we move up to 8 rounds. But other than that, you know, we're at a good pace. We're at a good pace, and we're about to go to 8 rounds. I don't really want to do too many more 6-rounders. He just had a pretty good layoff, so we came back to 6. But after this, maybe one more. If that, I'd like to go to 8 rounds.
Now, how much more training is involved to fight an 8-round fight as opposed to a 6-round fight?
Well, you run for your 6-round fight, right? But you just add on miles to, you know, keep your legs going and keep your cardio up for the 8-round fight. I can't say it's a lot more training, but it is, you know, it is a little bit more extensive. You might spar more rounds. Like I spar with some good local guys. Like I actually do work with Phil, Mike Reed, Kevin Rivers, Demetrius Bowder, people like that. You know, Lamar Peterson. We all go to work. So, I mean, I feel like I'm not fighting anybody at this point in the stage that's better than these guys that I'm training with.
Okay, so what's, you know, you have the fight coming up here on September 7th. If all goes well, what is on the horizon after that? I know you said you want to step up to 8 rounds. Will be another fight here in the county, or will you guys look to move elsewhere?
We've had, actually, you know, with the promoter, we've had some offers for show box, but actually, to be honest, when a lot of guys see his height, he's 6'5", we've got rejected. So, I mean, the promotion comes to tell us keep him ready anytime. I try ESPN or debut, but when they get a chance and they hear his pedigree and they realize really what scares them off is 6'5". 6'5" at the 154 is pretty scary with skills behind it. So we're just hoping to get that shot or get that opportunity where somebody can't say no, and we're gonna slide right in the door.
Well, that's awesome. I want to thank you guys for being on here, Alantez.
I appreciate it.
Going for win number 12. Let's hope you get it, and that's in a week. I appreciate you being on the show here. Thank you guys so much. Good best of luck to you. And we are done with this segment on boxing. A big show, September 7th down at Rosecroft. Come out and see some good local fighters. Try to improve their career. When we come back, we will talk to Ted Black about horse racing and Dance to Bristol, trained right here in Bowie, and she keeps on winning. Please stay tuned.